Johan Parley.
Good day to you.
Olá.
What brings you here?
Are you in charge of the construction of St. Barbara's? I hear you sent for a blacksmith. Well, here I am. My name is Henry.
Johann Parler is my name, from the Parler Building Works. I think that name should ring some bells?
I'm truly pleased to meet you, sir. So, what do you need? Nails? Carpenter's axes?
Close, but not quite. I need something, let's say, a bit more delicate.
Como assim?
More delicate, you say? And what exactly does that mean?
Oh, there's nothing to fear. Everything will be quite above board. If we are careful. You've never heard of my father, Peter?
I can't say as I have.
He had a divine gift, but he didn't get the chance to see all of his wonderful buildings completed. That task fell upon my shoulders.
Well, it must be a great honor to continue with such a great work of architecture.
Honor? A great responsibility is what it is. Imagine I make a bad decision or make a mistake in the calculations. And this building, which my father oversaw for so many years, suddenly comes tumbling down. And that's why I called for you. Construction work is going slower than I'd hoped. Nevertheless, I'm still thinking ahead. Therefore, I'd like to conceal a protective talismän among the roof beams of the cathedral.
And why is that a problem?
Talismans don't grow on trees. I know of 3 here in town, but they're not for sale.
I think I'm beginning to understand.
The first is the horseshoe hanging above the door of the tailor's at the horse market. They say he once got lost in a snowstorm, and St. Martin himself found him and brought him by horse to the town. He gave him a horseshoe as a reminder.
My word. That tailor was damn lucky.
Don't speak, just listen. The next talisman is a commemorative coin set into the cellar wall above the tavern across from the town hall. And the third is a nail somewhere in the beams of the potter's house in the Czech quarter. They say he brought it from Sedlet Monastery years ago. I want you to get all 3. Smelt them down, and forge an axe out of them that I can use to protect St. Barbara's. Putting a carpenter's axe in the truss work is an old tradition.
And no one will know it's made out of a horseshoe and a coin. Stealing, forging magical items, isn't that all a bit dangerous?
Vai ter que ter, ó.
Perhaps a bit, but doesn't the house of God deserve protection more than a few burghers?
Well, if you think so, why don't you try explaining it to them? This won't be an easy job, sir. And it won't be cheap either.
Have no fear. This is not a matter I intend to scrimp over.
All right, I'll do it. If the pay is good.
It'll be more than good, have no fear. But don't come to see me before it's done. The less we're seen together, the better. Till we meet again.
Belezinha. Por uma... Afastando o mal. Roube os pregos da viga, roube a fechadura em cima da porta e roube a moeda da fundação do coisinho. Por uma coincidência, a desgramada tá começando a ficar de noite. Né? Nossa, não. Tá bom o negócio. Vamos começar mais uma leva?
May God give you help.
Eu acho que sim. Só que dessa vez, vamos começar com essa tenebrosidade. Olá, rapaziada, como é que vocês estão? Sejam bem-vindos, vamos aí a mais um episódio de Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. E neste episódio, nós vamos fazer uma leva de missões secundárias antes da gente avançar na missão principal, já que a gente tem que ir lá pros Rooters. Então o reino vai precisar juntar alguns materiais um pouco esquisitos de forma leviana para montar um grande talismã e assim afastar o mal. E um comerciante vai pedir pra gente escrever uma carta, só que essa carta vai ter umas certas consequências aí, porque pode custar a nossa vida. E o Kubyenka vai pedir um favor pra gente dar uma olhada nos Plebeus rebeldes. A Katherine, ela vai estar com medo, porque durante as pesquisas dela, talvez ela tenha deixado algum rastro, porque uma das meninas que ela perguntou morreu de uma maneira bem violenta, e a gente vai precisar investigar o que está acontecendo. Só que antes de mais nada, vamos ao nosso pequeno top padrão. Pega uma hora de petisco, chama os amigos, bora se divertir, mas antes deixa que já não quer que esse coração, se não for inscrito, já aproveita e se inscreve. Bora lá.
There's so many nails here. You won't miss just one.
Meu Deus, quase que o cachorro me atrapalhou. Tá, vamos lá.
One beer, please.
I'd at least leave you a groschen for that commemorative coin. I reckon that'd just make you angry.
Nossa, essa foi super fácil. Agora... Não, isso daqui é...
Sit. Stay. Sorry, but St. Barbara's is more in need of good luck.
Agora... é esperar. Na verdade, eu tenho que vir numa forja, né? Tem, se não me engano, tem forja aqui. Dá pra eu já vir pra cá. Tem forja em um monte de lugar, mas... essa daqui é mais prática. Qual é o machado? Machado protetor. Prego sagrado, ferradura achada, moeda comemorativa. Machado protetor. Ele só protege mesmo, porque os status são ruins pra um caramba. É muito ruim o status dele. Agora eu vou dormir e ir lá falar com o outro. Oi, moço?
I brought you the axe.
Not so loud! Did anyone see you? If I have any problems
Ninguém
because of
viu, e
you,
é só um machado.
What are you afraid of? How could anyone tell that that missing horseshoe is in the axe?
Então. Machado protetor.
well, in one like that, certainly not. Nice work. Here's the coin. And you know what? Try and stop by and see Master Eldris, the local founder here. You might learn something new from him. Thank you, Henry. My father would certainly be proud of my work. Till we meet again.
Ó, ganhamos um mestre de habilidade. Em algum lugar aqui. Aí é só procurar. Moço, você senta na cadeira, não fica de pé. Ah, tá tendo briga.
I ain't seen you here before. Reckon you could help me?
Ah, é você.
Right, man?
Então, quer alguma coisa?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Hum.
We'll see. What's your name, pal?
Henry.
Kvyatoslav. Pleased to meet you.
Eu não vou
Well,
saber falar
Henry,
seu nome.
You can't read and write by any chance?
I can.
Brilliant. You're just the man I've been waiting for.
E o que você
Really?
precisa?
What do you need?
Someone trustworthy who could help me write this business letter.
And you were just waiting in case one happened to walk past? Isn't there a scribe in Kuttenberg?
Of course there is. It's just that I don't trust the bugger. And his assistant, even worse. While you strike me as a trustworthy fella. What's more, I can tell at first glance you ain't local, so my trade secrets are of no use to you.
So you want me to write a letter for you and keep it hush-hush?
I couldn't have put it better myself.
What kind of letter is it exactly?
Like I said, it's an important business letter. There's some matter I need to settle with this Kuttenberg burger.
Are you offering him something?
Aye, you could say that actually. It's kind of like a business offer.
What do I get for writing it?
A whole heap of coin, pal. It's really important for me. I don't mind giving you a groschen for every word.
Really? How long will the letter be?
Very long. There's a lot I need to say.
All right. I'm certain we can work something out.
Brilliant. But before we get started, could you take a look at this? Just to test you.
What's this supposed to be?
I was given this here parchment by one wandering student. He said it's a love poem.
How many miles you've wandered at such a grueling pace? Rest your feet, dear maiden. Sit here upon my face. That sounds more like bawdy verse than a love letter.
Is that what it says? Bugger. You know what? You can keep it. But it's clear you can read, so let's get down to work.
Can't you tell me anything more about the letter?
Nothing to tell. Like I said, I'm in a wrangle with this rich burger, and I need to get him to come to the table. And what better way than a nicely written letter?
Where are we going to write the letter? I can see neither parchment nor an inkwell here.
Oh no, we can't write it here. Too many curious ears round here.
Well then...
You have to go to Kuttenberg, in the northern part of town, known as the Miners' District. I have my office. Enter the city by that gate. Keep going straight until you pass the town hall. Keep the markets on your right. Go as far as the city wall, and there it is. The building may look a bit run down from outside, but don't worry about that. Go in, and my business partners will be waiting for you there.
Beleza.
Hold on. You're not coming with me?
I'm afraid I've got things to be doing. But don't worry. My partners know what to do, and they'll pay you.
Right, so I go to the city, and in the miners' district, I find your office. Well, they'll dictate the letter to me and pay me.
That's right. There's one more thing, though. Tell them two in the office that justice is worth more than silver, so they know it's me what sent you.
You have a
Justiça vale mais
password?
que prata.
Why?
You know, when coin's at stake, you can't trust anyone. But that's enough chit-chat. Off you go, don't keep them waiting. And welcome to the world of Kuttenberg businessmen. Farewell.
Nossa, por que essa missão não tá em Gutenberg, então? Postscriptum. Vai até a casa em Gutenberg para escrever uma carta. Caramba, eu tive que vir mó longe pra pegar essa missão pra voltar pra cidade. Faz parte, né? Até porque eu não gosto muito de vir pra esse lugar, porque esse lugar teve uma mudança de... Foi esse lugar mesmo? É, foi esse lugar. Não, não foi esse lugar. Esse lugar é tranquilo. É aqui que eu não gosto muito de ir, porque teve uma certa mudança de bens. E, né? Quero topar com uma pessoa que teve seus bens mudados. Mas, enfim, por enquanto... Tô aqui mesmo. Vamos vir para aqui. Esse lugar é meio suspeito. Credo.
Who are you? And what are you doing here, lad?
I'm Henry. I'm supposed to help you write a letter?
Oh, right. Kwiatoslav sent you, didn't he? And there's something you're supposed to tell us, though.
Justiça vale mais que a prata.
Justice is worth more than silver?
Great. You know the password. Let's get down to it right away, shall we?
Tá, vamos
Alright.
escrever.
Let's get to it.
Tá muito suspeito isso.
Right. A nice, polite beginning. Greetings, Master Markholz. I hope you are in good health and good spirits, and likewise your wife.
Never mind his old woman. Is he even married? A prick like that would bully a woman to death. Write this. You fucking arsehole. Release them and pay up, or we'll fuck you up.
We can't be so brutal. We have to be more polite. Markholz is a merchant. He's all about coin. We need to, you know, sell it to him.
He ain't no merchant. He's a murderer. What do you think Thomas went off to see the world in his old age? He got rid of him when we started getting suspicious.
So? Thomas was a bastard anyway.
I'm just saying we have to stick it to Marco brutally, so he doesn't think we're afraid of him.
Bollocks. If we do that, he'll think there's no talking to us. We have to do it with a silver tongue.
Suit yourself. For all I care, you can just draw the fucking thing. It'll be shit anyway.
Eu acho que eles estão falando
Well,
mais do
do it
que
like I
devia.
said. So,
Mais do que eu posso
dear
saber.
Master Markhold, I hope this letter finds you in good spirits.
Vou deixar o texto mais refinado. Vou escrever o que disse ao pé da letra. Não vou medir palavras. Vou deixar o texto mais refinado.
I'll make it sound a bit more refined. Greetings. I trust that this correspondence will find you in good health. Done. Next.
We are writing to you about a serious matter concerning our deal.
That you fucked us over on, you cheating scum.
Would you please let me compose this letter?
All right,
Ele não vai
all right,
deixar.
forget I spoke.
Now, where was I? I am writing to you in regards to a serious matter concerning our deal, which did not exactly go well.
We are writing to you in good faith that we can resolve this misunderstanding, which was surely unintentional. What's next?
Right. What was it I wanted?
To get to the point.
Why don't you get to the door and fuck off? If you keep sticking your nose in, we'll never get it written.
We'll
Concordo.
never get it written if you don't get to the point. But suit yourself. I'll shut up.
So, it didn't end up well. We would like, like this. We expect from you some remedy that will lead to improving things for both sides. If you refuse, it will lead to some deep shit, misfortune.
O que esse sujeito fez pra
What
vocês?
did that fella actually do to you?
You'll find out. Sometime, maybe.
Write and it'll all become clear.
All right. I'm writing.
Caramba, tô muito curioso agora.
We ask you to rectify the situation to the satisfaction of both sides in this dispute. Your refusal, on the contrary, would result in your own downfall. Written. Next.
All right. Write this. Let our mates go free. Otherwise, we'll go to the powers that be and they'll kick your arse for you. Or your backside, or something polite.
Finally.
Entraram num acordo.
The powers that be. Have you got some dirt on him? What the hell did the fella do?
That's none of your concern. The less you know, the better.
Tá bom.
Come on. I'm helping you, aren't I? I deserve a little honesty, don't I?
You do, and that's why I'm being honest with you. The less you know, the better.
Vamos lá. Vamos melhorar isso.
Free our captive brothers. Otherwise, we shall report your dishonesty to King Sigismund, and he shall see to your prompt punishment. Carry on.
Aye. Once they return to us safe and sound, we'll clear off and you'll never see us again. And your secret will be safe.
Ha! You don't really believe he'll let us go just like that?
Why not? If we disappear, he'll be out of danger. Him and his silver.
He'll be safe as long as he kills us.
Shut up, you idiot.
You shut up, you fool.
Epa, tá
What was that
tendo
about,
roubo de
Silver?
prata.
Nothing.
Don't give me that. I heard you.
All right, tell him. It don't matter now anyway.
Us and Markle made a deal. We stole silver for him. He took it out of the region and flocked it and gave us a cut.
Except he never actually paid us, the bastard.
So we started to set aside a bit of everything we nicked. Selling raw silver here in the city ain't exactly safe, but you can manage if you do it little by little.
Except that fucker Marco got wind of it, took our mates captive, and won't let them go till we give it all back to him.
You didn't have to tell him that. What if he shits himself and scarpers?
Don't worry, he's a good lad. He'll help us and he'll be rewarded. Isn't that right?
Of course you're right. I'm in with you. Silver is lovely. What do you want me to write?
As
Nessa
soon as our
situação a
mates
gente
come
faz
back
o que
safe
dá,
and
né?
sound, we'll clear off and you'll never see us again.
Once our brothers have returned to us safe and sound, we shall vanish from these parts, and you shall never hear from us again. Done.
Maybe some polite parting.
Like, go fuck yourself, shitbag.
We can't put that in the letter, surely. that's definitely not done. We'll do it politely. Yours trustingly in your wise decision, the Mining Brotherhood.
With regards and trust in your wisdom, yours, the trustworthy men of the honest brotherhood of miners.
Honesta com grandes
That's
aspas.
that. The letter is finished.
Great. Give it to me
E...
so I can seal it and have it delivered. We are grateful for your help.
We are. And we're sorry for what we have to do now.
Can't we just leave it be?
He knows too much. What if he goes to the bailiff?
I'd be no good to him anyway. Does he know about our camp on Sukov Hill?
Abriu a boca.
I shouldn't have said that.
You must be the biggest idiot in the region. There's no way we can let him go now.
Fuck. Yeah. Sorry, lad. You're out of luck, I'm sad to say.
Na verdade, são vocês que deram azar, né?
Look, that really isn't necessary. We can still help each other out, can't we?
How is that?
Someone still has to deliver the letter, eh? And the two of you can't, because he'll seize you right away.
So what? We can just grab anyone off the road and they'll deliver it for us.
Well, maybe. But how can you be sure they won't just throw it in a ditch or give it to someone else?
Why would they?
Who knows? But that's not the point. What I mean is, I'm the best man for the job you've got.
Maybe. And what do you get out of it?
Well, I get to keep my head on my shoulders. And maybe a small reward?
Maybe.
You believe him?
Why not? Silver has a way of shutting mouths.
Sometimes forever, if you're not careful. All right then, we can do it your way.
Agreed. Take the letter and deliver it to Master Marcold of Loney. He lives in a big stone house on the lower marketplace, next door to a tailor's. Got that?
Just make sure you don't tell him anything. Some miner gave you some coin to deliver a letter, and you did it, because you're a decent fella.
You don't have to wait for a reply, but watch how he reacts to the letter. If it goes well and Marcold lets our mates go with them to Sukov. There'll be a nice pile of silver waiting there for you. Don't you worry.
But if you betray us, there'll be a nice sharp blade waiting for you instead.
And if we see you going to the bailiff instead of Marcold's place, you're a dead man.
All right, all right. I'll hand it over. Keep my mouth shut. Mum's a word. Don't worry.
Leve a carta ao proprietário da mina ou entregue os mineradores para o meirinho. Caraca, os cara abriram a boca porque não devia. Entregue os mineradores ao meirinho ou leve a carta ao proprietário da mina. Vamos ver se já dá pra fazer agora, né? Porque esse jogo ele tem umas frescuras de horário. Tipo, às vezes você entra no lugar, é barrado e não deu nem às 6 horas da tarde, entendeu? Tipo, tem um ferreiro aqui na região que ele, acho que bugou. Eu entrei, era umas 5 horas da tarde. Aí já do nada deu como privado. Como propriedade privada. Aí eu não consegui entrar. Aí ele trancou a porta e nunca mais abre. Chega a ser bizarro. É aqui? Ou aqui? Não, eu acho que é aqui.
Stop right there. This is the house of Marcold of Loney. What do you want, fellow?
I was given a letter to deliver to your master.
A letter. All right, go on, but make it quick.
Ó, tá vendo?
Careful.
Então, se você deixar eu entrar... Obrigado. Cadê o cara? Aqui.
Servus, guter Mann. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for Master Markold.
Das bin ich. What do you want? Spit it out, I have no time to waste.
Alguém me deu essa carta.
Some fella gave me this letter and said I should give it to you.
Was? What fella? What did he look like?
Heads, 2 arms, 2 legs. Looked like a miner.
Give me the letter. What? None of them could have written this. It's almost like an Einladung to a royal banquet. How did you get hold of this letter?
Some bloke just shoved it in my hand along with a few groschen. He said you're expecting it.
Strange, but whatever. The main thing is, what to do about it. Were you told to wait for a reply?
No. They said they'd know straight away if you'll listen to them or not.
Wirklich? If that is how it is, I should listen, no? And fast.
What should I do then?
You? Right. Right. Here's a few groschen and you can run along. By the way, do you know where Hlowshed's Gate is?
Somewhere in the north of the city, isn't it? The vineyard's just beyond it.
Ausgezeichnet. Soon a couple of miners will turn up nearby, looking like they haven't seen daylight for God knows how long. Something tells me they'll be pleased if you tell them you brought me the letter.
Tá, isso tá meio esquisito. Encontre os mineradores no portão do coisa. Isso tá muito esquisito. É porque assim, os caras estão com muito cuidado, porque senão eles vão tudo pra... Como fala? Acho que é forca ou fogueira? Eu acho que roubo de prata é fogueira. Eu acho que é fogueira. Aê, chegaram.
You must be Kviatoslav and Mislibor's mates, eh? You're free at last. I reckon you know where to go now, right?
Well, we do. But who the hell are you?
A messenger, and a good Christian. I brought the message that secured your freedom.
Really? I owe you one then, pal.
Well, you can thank me later. Now we should all vanish quick, before Markold changes his mind about letting you go.
You're right. Are you going with us?
Sure. I'll go right along with you. I was promised something anyway.
I'd say you've earned it. I was beginning to think we were done for. Let's go then.
Aê. Eita, pra onde a gente tá indo? Tá.
Careful.
Right. Job done. Letter delivered. Markold didn't even get too angry.
I'm surprised. That fucker's a sneaky bastard who'd seize Jesus Christ himself if he thought he'd have something out of it.
Well, I'd never have thought it of him. He just sat there smiling.
Smiling. Christ, laddie, that sent shivers down my spine. Just when I thought we were in the clear.
Ah, come on. What are you afraid of? After all...
What was that?
Ausgezeichnet. I found you at last. For a while I was afraid you'd escape.
Fuck. How did you find us, you
Ele
bastard?
seguiu.
Did you double-cross us, lad?
What? No, this isn't my fault.
Nobody had to double-cross anyone. I just had to have you secretly followed.
What?
Naja, what else could I do? That letter made it clear to me you won't stop causing trouble.
So what now? Have you come to kill us all?
You're all long dead anyway, meine Brüder. You just don't know it yet.
Olha. Não tenho nada a ver com isso. Me deixem ir. Ah, vai a merda
Kindly shut
você.
your mouth, Markhold. You're giving me a headache.
You won't have a head to ache soon. At them!
This looks like easy money.
Ich schlage dir die Fresse ein.
Cadê o outro? Prontinho. Ele não tem nada. O guarda-costas vai ter Groshan. Nossa, eu tô com tanta chave de baú. Ah, os caras são uns... Eita, prelo, o minerador já era. Um dos mineradores se foi. Ah, não dá pra salvar todos. Opa.
Whew. That was a close shave.
Damned right it was. That bastard, he followed us to the camp. Here, lad, your reward. You deserve it.
Oh, thanks. And next time, find someone else to write your letters.
Né? A gente se meteu numa puta de uma confusão por causa de uma cartinha post-scriptum. É, pelo menos o que morreu é sem nome, então... Então, né? Ninguém vai sentir falta. Eu não vou sentir falta.
What have we here? Hey!
Oi?
Do you want something from me?
Pay homage and tribute
Who to? You?
to our hero here, the all-conquering warrior, the meanest, toughest slugger around, the one and only Yarda the Great.
They call this fellow what? The toughest slugger? I'm not convinced.
You don't believe me? Then you'll have to fight it out. Fair and square. Get ready to put him up.
Tá bom.
Come on then.
Come on, come on. Right. Knock him out cold. Kick his arse.
Vem. Oh. Caramba, ele tá num terreno complicado pra... Vem mais um pouquinho pra cá, vem. Sai daí, né? Aí é muito fácil.
I'll beat you to a... Think you can face me, do you?
Calma aí, tô sem estamina.
Come on, Yarda.
Caramba, ele é resistente, hein?
Batter that wretch. That's impossible. There's no way a milksop like you could take down Yarda.
And yet I'm the one still standing on my feet.
You must be some kind of warlock. There's no other explanation.
I'm no warlock. I've just had my fair share of fighting.
Are you a battle-scarred warrior, then?
You could put it that way.
You know what that means? Yarda the Great has just pulled off the fight of his life.
No. Yarda the Great is sprawled in the mud over there.
But he went toe-to-toe with a war veteran hardened in 1,000 battles. And you taught him everything you know. Yarda will be invincible now.
What? That doesn't make any... Right. Whatever.
Que aleatório. Sobre os plebeus
Earlier, you
rebeldes.
mentioned a bunch of peasants taking up arms against Sigismund.
Aye, a bunch of villagers. But they might be onto something.
How are they trying to fight Sigismund?
Do not imagine anything too grand. Mostly they are just trying to survive. Some time ago, they raided a supply caravan heading to Sigismund's camp. Then the very same supplies turned up with the hungry families in Miskovitz. They are doing a good job. But if they keep stepping on Sigismund's toes like that, he will go after them. And soon.
A gente vai ter que ajudar, então.
We could use a band like that.
I agree. But Siska was against it. You saw it yourself. I promised I would not look for them.
So, what are we gonna do?
Well, I'm not going to break my word. But you did not make any such promise, did you?
Como posso encontrá-los?
Do you know where to look for them?
From what I know, they mostly hang around Miskovitz. It seems they use a secret password to recognize their own.
Password? What password?
Fuck, what was it? Ah, I remember. The fox is in the henhouse.
The fox is in the henhouse? Oh, isn't that just fantastic? What am I supposed to do with it?
Go to the herb woman in Miskovitz and say to her.
Why her?
I suspect she's working with them, provides them with supplies and such. I have a feeling she might be the way to get to that. Try telling her the password and see what happens.
Well, I hope I won't be making a fool of myself.
Eu também espero que... É porque a gente tem um certo trauma com senhas, né? Principalmente quando você mete uma raposa no meio. Oden von alguma coisa.
Is that you? I thought I recognized you.
You look familiar too.
It's me, Odolin von Wotitz. You gave me a few groschen to help me on my way.
Ah, eu lembro.
You were being
Agora
held
lembrei.
hostage by the League of Lords.
That's correct.
Lá no primeiro mapa, quando a gente foi, como fala? Quando a gente tava indo pra quest do moleiro, esse cara parou a gente no meio da estrada pedindo uma ajuda pra ele conseguir ir ver a família dele, que ele era um filho de um nobre e ele foi mantido em cativeiro por um tempo.
How did you make it home?
I checked out a couple of wayside inns and got lucky. With the little money I had, I finally found a caravan. The carter didn't mind hosting a lowlife on his wagon, as long as he was getting paid for his trouble. He dropped me off a short distance from Wotitz, and I walked the rest of the way.
Que legal.
What brings you back to Kuttenberg? And with a retinue at that?
My father and I won't let them get away with what they did to me. Let's say we're on our way to scope out the land of some acquaintances of ours.
Well, you're gonna settle a score.
And who knows? We might just run into someone important and take him on a visit to our place. We've already fixed up a nice room with a solid lock. Would you like to see it?
No, I'd rather not.
I was just teasing. It's all set up for someone else.
I have to get going. I'm glad you're all right.
Wait a moment. You helped me, and I won't forget that. Here, take your money back, so we're even. And I have something else for you here. I think it might come in handy. A fine weapon. Dependable. It's felled a few deer in its time, and it would put a decent hole in a man too. If you ever needed to defend yourself.
My word. Thanks.
I bid you safe travels.
Same to you.
Olha, balestra de caça ornamentada. Caraca, que da hora. Agora eu tô parando nas estradas tudo pra ver, porque tem uns eventos da hora, assim. Ah, balestra de caça ornamentada. É que a nossa é melhor, entendeu? Tipo, muito melhor. Mas mesmo assim, fico feliz. Muito feliz. Olá, minha senhora.
God be with you, sir.
Ah, dizer a senha.
Listen carefully, Grandma. I heard something interesting.
What would
Olha
that
o que ele
be?
faz. A lebre está na toca, a raposa está no galinheiro.
The fox is in the hen house.
Well, it's about time someone came. I was getting worried. Are you new? Why didn't Otto come? I hope nothing happened to him.
Vou buscar suprimentos hoje, menti. Não conheço o Lombra. Vou buscar suprimentos hoje, sei lá.
My turn to pick up the supplies. Otter is a bit busy today. He even forgot to tell me where to take the stuff.
Oh, that's just like him. I hope he's not getting into any trouble.
Caraca.
I wouldn't know.
All right. Here's what we'll do. Here are some healing potions and a bit to eat. The lads are camped out in the woods west of here, so take it to them. And tell Otto to come by sometime.
I will.
And if he's in hiding or something, come back again so I know he's all right.
A revolta dos plebeus.
What in God's name happened here?
Eita. Deu muita merda. Oi.
Came to finish me off, you bastard.
Calm down. I'm on your side. Vlasta sent me. What happened here?
We were ambushed. You've got to help me, man. My leg. I took an arrow in the leg. I pulled it out, but it won't stop bleeding.
There's a lot of blood. But the wound isn't so deep. We need to stop the bleeding first.
And how are you going to do that?
Give me your belt. We need to strangulate the leg closer to the heart. Then I'll clean the wound and take a proper look at it.
Thank you.
It'll take a while. Try not to move too much.
Thanks, Henry.
Can you stand up?
Aye, it's better now. You must have been sent here by my guardian angel.
Well, if your guardian angel's name is Vlasta, and she makes ointments in Miskovitz, then I.
Ah, good old Vlasta. She's been helping us a lot ever since we started. Wait, do you hear that? Wolves!
Oh, shit. They must have
Lobos.
followed the smell of blood. Can you defend yourself?
It's not like I have a choice. Get him!
Vamos, venha. Foi-se, falta mais um.
You all right?
Aye, but I was starting to think we were done for. I have to do something to repay you. This is the second time you've saved my life. Our little rebellion is over, but I still have some groschen that we stole from Sigismund tucked away. I have them stashed in a jug hidden on a cliff near Miskovitz.
What are you gonna do now?
I have relatives living near Sedlitz. I'll hide out there.
Pode ir até a casa da Asta. Pode se
I
juntar no
originally
nosso.
started looking for your group to offer an alliance. I'm from Jan Zizka's retinue. We want to put King Wenceslas back on the throne. You could join us.
Well, it's a shame you didn't get here sooner. As you can see, there's no one left.
Well, at least you can still join us.
With my leg like this. Look, yesterday I'd have said something else, but I can't anymore. I'm done fighting. You see all those dead fellas? It was me who roused them to become rebels. I don't want any more lives on my conscience.
Vlasta was worried about you. Maybe you could hide at her place.
No way. I'd just be inviting trouble to her doorstep. I have to get out of here while everyone thinks I'm dead too. Give her my thanks. For everything.
We'd better get out of here before something else happens.
Aye, you're right. Don't forget to collect the groschen. I hope you succeed in bringing peace back to these lands. God be with you.
Olha com a lonta. Caracas. Arregaçar nos caras aqui. Ups, desculpa, tia. Desculpa.
I'm back from the camp.
Atropelei ela sem querer.
Did something happen?
It's bad.
É.
When I got there, the camp was ransacked.
Good God! Is everyone all right? What about Otter? Is he safe?
Otter is the only survivor. I treated his wounds. He should be fine.
Thank God for that, at least.
He asked me to give you his thanks for all the help you've given them.
He's a good lad. But why didn't he come back with you?
He said he needed to hide. He'll be staying with relatives near Sedlets. He didn't want you to get into trouble.
Hopefully, he can come back when this war is over. It's ravaged so many families already. I'm glad you helped him, lad. Take this as a reward. One sip, and you'll get all your strength back, I promise. But don't drink too much at once.
Thank you.
Oh, muita poção. A revolta dos Plebeus
so
feita.
far away from the village?
I lived here with my husband. May he rest in peace. Peter worked in the forest. We moved around a lot. And when he died, I stayed here. Folks from Miskovitz know me and come to see me. I've got everything I need here.
You said your husband worked in the forest?
Aye. I suppose it doesn't matter now if I tell you. Peter was a poacher. And that's what cost him his life in the end. He was caught and hanged on Dead Man's Hill outside Kuttenberg.
What do the locals need your help with?
Surely you've heard already, eh? I help in any way I can.
Wouldn't you rather live in the village?
I'd rather be alone, where I lived with Peter, than somewhere else. But just as alone. Take care, then.
Né? Fazer o quê? Coitada dela.
You said you needed some help with something. What's going on?
Something's happened. Oh, a real mess.
Ih.
And I need help from someone reliable.
What is it?
When I was fishing around for information about Liechtenstein, I cast the net a bit too wide.
É, isso é perigo.
And one of the servant girls I questioned was just found dead.
You think she was killed because of you?
I don't know. If I did, I wouldn't be asking you for help.
Conte-me mais.
I'll help you. Tell me all about it. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She was an ordinary, pretty girl. She worked as a maid. I heard they found her all hacked up, tossed somewhere by the town wall. Oh, folk in town are saying it was absolute slaughter. They took the body to the morgue by the St. Peter and St. Paul cemetery.
I'll go take a look at her. See if I can find anything.
I think that would be for the best. Though, I don't think it'll be a very pretty sight. You can ask the gravedigger for details. He'll know the most.
When did you last see the girl?
Around a week ago?
And did you notice anything suspicious about her?
Not at all. She was always cheerful, lively. She was looking forward to a dance. Though I'm afraid she won't be dancing ever again.
Credo.
What was Alice trying to find out for you?
She always brought me the freshest gossip overheard from her master. And lately, what the other maids in town were saying.
And did you learn anything important from her? Something someone would kill her for?
That's the thing. All she brought me was gossip. Who was cheating on who wasn't going to confession, those sorts of things. So you'll have to figure out the rest for yourself.
What about your other girls? Are they all right?
Yes, fortunately. I'm careful enough to keep them pretty much in the dark about my plans. That's why Alice's death shocked me so much.
What are you going to do next?
I'd like to ask the others if they noticed anything suspicious. If someone is following them and the like, but...
But you don't want to scare them.
I'm scared myself. For them. Maybe nobody knows about them yet. If someone was to follow me, I could give them away. And I can't risk that. I don't want anyone else to die because of me.
What if I go and see them?
They don't know you, Henry. You'd only scare them. I'll figure something out. In the meantime, find out everything you can about Alice.
Do you think there could be something bigger behind the murder?
I don't know. Maybe she just got caught up in something. But it's strange. Why would someone do her like that? That's the kind of thing you do when you want to send someone a message.
Why did you ask me in particular for help?
Because you're the only one I know here.
Uh-huh.
But don't take it the wrong way. I'm actually glad it's you. You're pretty reliable. Not even
Que bom.
Zhishka would be of much help to me here.
Uh-huh. Thanks. I know everything I need.
Good. Go to that graveyard, talk to the gravedigger, and take a look at that poor girl's body. In the meantime, I'll try to find out more. Then we'll put it all together, and I'll be damned if we can't come up with something.
O Quinto Mandamento.
What happened at Nebakov after the Praguers took the fortress?
You're asking me?
No, of course. I know you weren't there, but maybe you heard something. You know what goes on, right? I only remember that diabolical shot. Nothing after that.
That must have been really terrible. I heard the shot all the way from Troskowitz. I'm afraid all I know is when they took the fortress, von Aulitz's men hanged everyone they found there. I'm sorry, but most of ours got left behind there.
There was this healer called Clara there.
A girl of yours?
Não, não conheço
I
bem,
don't know
não.
her well, but she was very kind to me. But I suppose now I'll never see
Até
her again.
demais.
Poor girl. May God forgive her sins and grant her eternal rest. You have to live every day like it's going to be your last. That's all you can do in our trade.
É.
Do you know if Michael, the adjutant, survived?
I'm afraid I do know. Zhishka said the shot killed him on the spot.
Did you know him?
Aye. He was a good man. He saved my life once.
Oh, I didn't know that. Do you want to talk about it?
Not now, thanks. Some other time, maybe.
Thank you. That's all.
I'm sorry I can't tell you more.
No, that's all right. Thanks. I want to ask about a few more things.
But of course, ask away.
I know all there is to know. I'm going to that graveyard.
Beleza. Então vamos lá. Mais uma missão secundária. Deixa eu... Vai. Vai. Ispa. Ah, aí vocês que se... Por que tá todo mundo saindo? É hora de dormir, não é hora de acordar. Tá, é aqui. Então vamos lá falar com o coveiro.
You must be the local gravedigger.
Sim,
That's
a
right.
gente já
They
conhece.
call me František. At least them that can speak do.
I'm Henry.
Greetings, Henry. What do you need?
I hear there was a murder here recently. Some young girl?
True. True. She's lying in the morgue. But who the hell are you? Another Gawker?
Another? Why would anybody come to look at her?
People ain't got no respect. As soon as news spread about what was done to her, folk are always turning up to have a gawk. So if you ain't one of them Gawkers, you must be one of them other types. Well, no, you can't shave her. No, No thumb for a souvenir.
I don't want to take anything. I need to find something out.
Like what exactly?
Who killed her?
Why?
Tô preocupado com a minha amiga. Fui enviado aqui pelos lords de Leipa. Quero justiça.
Someone killed the poor girl. You can't just let the murderer get away with it, can you?
Well, what do you plan on doing about it?
Find out who did it and bring him to justice.
Well, if that's the way it is, and you really want to help them lasses, it's true that Lumiere ain't shown no interest in her yet. I wouldn't expect that from him no more.
Who's this Lumiere? Another one of those gawkers and collectors?
No, no. He actually tried to help.
Help? How?
Well, he was investigating them others.
Right. You said she wasn't the first.
Aye. We had a couple of similar cases. Lumiere said they was all killed by the same murderer.
And who is this Lumiere?
He used to work for the local bailiff. I think he knew the first one what was killed, but that was a long time ago.
Do you remember how many girls were killed?
You mean you don't know nothing about it? Here, even the sparrows are squawking about it.
I haven't been in Kuttenberg very long.
I see. There's been one every few weeks for the past year.
Do you know where the last one got killed?
I heard some talk about it when they brought her here. But what do you want to do there?
Look for clues. Footprints, blood, anything.
That can help you?
That's worth a try.
I heard she was killed by the town walls, close to the hole in the wall, a dodgy tavern in the Hopring neighborhood.
Thanks. What's this Lumiere got to do with this?
Well, like I told you, he used to work for the bailiff. I think he was a scribe.
A scribe keeps records in the Black Chronicle, though I've never heard of one doing his own investigations.
Well, the old bailiff wasn't all that interested in the common folk. But Lumiere, he was quite helpful. Folk heard about it and went to him with whatever was troubling them.
I'd like to speak with Lumiere. Do you know where I can find him?
At his home in Bohemia Street, that's near the church. You won't find him at the bailiff's no more. I don't know exactly why, though. Seems he had some quarrel with the bailiff.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
It's my pleasure, especially helping someone from the land of the living again. Actually, wait a mo. Speaking of the living, there's a girl what comes here and grieves over that dead maid. I think her name is Barbara.
And do you know where I could find her?
She said she serves in one of the burgers' houses, so either there or in the morgue with that poor dead girl.
Thanks again, Master Gravedigger.
Farewell.
Now you're surely in a better world.
Essa daqui.
Are you Barbara? I'm told you knew Alice.
Alice. She was almost like a sister to me. We served together for years, in the same house. Why'd you ask? Who are you?
I'm trying to find out who did this to her. I'm afraid the killer might want to go after my friend as well.
Ah, I understand.
Who did you serve?
Our master is a local merchant. He is trying his hand at trading wine.
How did Alice get along with your master?
Fine. Just like with everyone. Our master is a bit strict, but he's fair.
What's his name? Can I speak to him?
Why? But you can't see him anyway. He's on a trade trip to Prague.
It occurred to me that maybe he could have done it.
No, he couldn't. He was gone when it happened. He hadn't been home in several weeks. And besides, why would he kill them others too? He never even knew them.
I heard about that. And also about Lumiere.
Well, if you're interested, go and see him. Maybe you'll catch him sober enough to talk sense.
Do you know of any suitors she might have had?
I know she was seeing someone. Why?
I'd like to talk to him as well.
But I don't know who it was. Alice said he was rich and dressed nicely. But she promised him she'd never tell anyone his name.
And you never saw him?
No, never. I don't even know where she met with him.
Do you know what exactly happened to Alice?
No. Nobody saw or heard nothing. One day she just didn't come home. And then they found her. Like this.
What do you mean, like this?
You haven't seen her yet, have you?
I haven't.
Then don't. It's a horrible thing to see. She was such a pretty girl. She had such beautiful brown hair. And it didn't even leave that untouched.
What do you mean?
Who could have cut off her hair like that? And why? None of it makes sense.
So, I'll leave you to mourn in peace now.
Bem, pelo que eu vi...
So, let's see what we have here.
Credo.
My God. Someone really did a number on her. Oh, they ripped open her entire belly.
Isso não foi queima de arquivo, foi psicopata.
Buckets of blood. Jesus Christ. There's hardly any blood left in her. The place they found her must look like a slaughterhouse. I should go there and take a look. Her lips are bloody, but nothing more. Tongue still in place. But if he killed her for blabbing, I reckon he'd have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't he? These are more like chops than cuts. Somebody must have taken a sword to her. Knife wounds would be smaller, and an axe would have made a bigger mess. But it couldn't have been a long sword. That would have been clumsy. It was something shorter and nimbler. God.
Sabre.
That madman cut off both her breasts and bits of flesh. But what did he do with it all afterwards?
Ah, provavelmente deve ser para praticar magia.
Did he really keep all the pieces? Nobody could be that sick, could they? Her face is a little bruised and cut, but nobody cut her there. But she has a dark ring around her neck. Was she strangled? The murderer must have had pretty strong hands, and her hair is all matted with blood and hacked off. I don't even know what colour it was. Maybe there's something more to it. What if the murderer kept her hair like some kind of sick trophy? Just some scratches and bruises, that's all. The killer probably surprised her. She didn't even have time to defend herself. So, the murderer must have awfully strong hands, because he strangled her and left a dark ring around her neck. Then he took a short sword or saber and started hacking at her. She's missing parts of her torso, but they aren't by the body. He also cut off most of her hair. He cut off her breasts, but left her tongue, then left her lying there for all to see. To send a message, maybe? Or a warning? Only if it was a warning for telltales, he would have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't he? I don't know why he killed her, but I don't think it's because of Katherine.
Bem, foi psicopata que fez isso. Isso é certeza absoluta. Não foi por causa dela. Vou falar com Lumir. Tem que dar a volta. Ou não. Será que dá pra coisar pela essa portinha aqui da coisa? Qual é a portinha mesmo? Essa daqui, né? Não, não é essa. Ah, mas a gente sempre cria uma porta se não tiver. Ele sempre se lava quando passa perto dos porcos. Pronto. Que isso? Tá mijando aí?
Lumir?
Christ, my head. Not so loud.
I need to ask you something.
I said not so loud. I have a splitting headache.
That's some hangover. He's useless to me like this. Unless I'm willing to wait for him to sleep it off, I'll have to get him some kind of cure or potion. This should sober him up.
No.
No, not that. Ah, nothing like a little hair of the dog that bit you.
Será? Ui, caramba. Pera aí. É 3? Pera aí. Ô, caramba.
More booze. Christ. I'm gonna puke.
Drink up. It'll make you feel better.
Better already. Wait, what? Who? What are you doing here? Who are you?
My name is Henry.
And what do you want from me?
I'm trying to find out who killed a certain girl. And I was sent to you.
To me? What for?
Are you Lumiere from the Rat House? The scribe?
I used to be. Now I'm just Lumiere the madman.
They say that about you. Why?
Because I was just on some wild goose chase. And what came of it? Absolutely nothing.
But I need your help.
If I were you, lad, I'd leave it be. You can't help that girl anymore, anyway. You'll just end up hurting yourself.
Come now, Lumiere.
Poor girls. Nobody was all that interested in it, except for me. We let it be in the end. We let a monster walk among us. No way. You can't solve this yourself.
I'm not doing it for myself. I'm afraid he might kill one of my friends.
A friend, eh? That's not good. Not good at all. I searched high and low. And what did I get out of it? Just mockery. What makes you think you can find out more than I did?
Não vou parar por nada, eu arranco a verdade das pessoas, posso usar a cabeça.
Because I'm stubborn, and I don't have any other choice. I'll get to the truth no matter what.
You think that will suffice?
If not, I'd have been dead long ago. Bled out from a human arrow.
All right. Talk to me. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She worked as a maid.
A maid? That fits. Yarka was a maid too. As were most of the other victims. What did she look like? What did he do to her?
I think that he strangled her first, and then went at her with a longer blade and disemboweled her.
Did you notice the strangulation right away? It took me a while. Maybe you really will track him down.
Do you think it's the same murder?
Counting your girl, that makes 6 victims who were first strangled and then mutilated. If it's not all the same person, they must be collaborating somehow.
This is the 6th one. How long has he been killing?
Probably about a year now. Sometimes it takes him months, sometimes weeks. But I'm including missing girls. Stanya and Zdena.
Why are you counting the missing girls?
Because I think someone killed them, and we just haven't found them yet.
Did the dead girls have anything in common?
Aside from being pretty young girls with no proper family or background? No. I couldn't find much.
Do you think somebody is killing them because they're poor, and nobody will miss them?
Certainly. If somebody killed the daughter of a local lord, no stone would be left unturned.
But why is he even kill in the first place?
I don't know. Maybe he hates women. Damn it. I feel like I'm going in circles and can't get out.
É porque nessa época eles não sabiam muito sobre o negócio de cabeça. Então eles não sabiam o que era um psicopata. Um serial killer.
What can you tell me about Yarka?
She wasn't the first. But thanks to her, people started taking an interest. She was a maid in a German family. By all accounts, she was a pious, polite girl. She was orphaned as a child. The priest from the church of St. Peter and Paul, Father Prokop, raised her. They found her body tossed behind a barn at the edge of town. She was cut all the way from her neck downwards. An awful sight to behold.
Did you have any suspects?
At first, I thought the son from that family did it. The murderer is usually someone close, you know. But then I changed my mind.
Why?
Well, for one, I remembered the 2 girls before her who ended up almost the same. Besides that, when I talked to the lad, He seemed he wasn't the least bit interested in Yarka. Then his mother told me that they threw her out a week before the murder because she was a harlot who stayed out till all hours of the night. That really surprised me, because Father Prokop had vouched for her good reputation. But who knows? Maybe he just didn't want to admit what had become of her.
What about Stanya?
She was an alehouse wench in a tavern of ill repute called the Hole in the Wall.
You said her body was never found. Maybe she just got out of town.
You have no idea how much I'd like to believe that. Only there was a lot of blood. Unfortunately, the investigation wasn't very successful. The Hole is a world of its own, and the people there aren't very forthcoming with information.
Did you suspect anybody?
You could suspect every second man there. Those people have nothing but thievery and deceit in their eyes. The innkeeper, Mole, definitely knew Stanya, since she worked for him. But he isn't all that chatty either.
So if I want to learn anything more, I have to ask this mole in the hole?
Yeah, he still runs the place.
And what about that Zdena? You said her body was never found.
Exactly. But to tell the truth, nobody spent much time looking for it. Besides Alice, Zdena was the most recent victim. It's only been a few weeks since she went missing, but I suppose nobody wanted to do any more digging.
But if her body was never found, how do you know she was killed?
Because she was the same type as the other girls. Maybe the prettiest of them all. Young, beautiful. A real live one. Lively as the devil. She was a thief. A pickpocket. I never could pin it on her, though. She always found some way to get out of it.
Maybe she robbed the wrong people and had to get out of town.
Maybe. She had a partner in crime by the name of Strunad. Quite a number. He's always sitting in the hole, boozing. When I asked him about Zdena, he told me he'd rather rip his own tongue out than talk.
Do you think he'd be more forthcoming with me?
He might be. You're not known all over town like a catchpole. It's worth a try. Besides, it might still be fresh in his memory. That would be a great help.
And what about the other two
Eloquência
victims?
23.
It all started with them, though nobody did much about it at the time. The first one worked as a bathhouse maid. They called her Chestnut. She'd only been in town for a short while, and nobody really knew her. So I couldn't find out anything more. But the other one, Libushka, she was from Loretz. She was a maidservant, too. I also talked to her mother. She said she was really cheerful and outgoing. There were lots of suitors circling around her, but she refused them all. She knew she was pretty and knew she could do better than some farmhand.
You mean she wanted someone higher up?
That's what it sounded like. But her mother never found out who she had her eye on.
Interesting. I'll try to see what else I can find out from the mother. Where can I find her?
In the graveyard, lad. The poor woman died of grief. It's sad to say, but we can't help those two dead girls now. And they can't help us with our investigation either. There's nobody else left who could tell us anything about them.
Why were you looking into it? Who were those dead girls to you?
I don't know what people told you about me, but for many long years I was a scribe for Kuttenberg's bailiff. Kuttenberg is a big city with a lot of people. Silver, silver, silver. Mining it, smelting it, stealing it. There's always something going on. The bailiff was always running from hell to Hades, from one rich man to another, settling their quarrels. Often trivial nonsense.
But there are more than just rich burghers and lords in the city.
Exactly. There are common folk, too. There's a lot more of them, and their troubles are usually more serious. So when one of them came to the bailiff's one time, and the bailiff was running around somewhere, I started to deal with it myself. I was pretty good at it, too.
Behind the bailiff's back?
Not really. Andreas supported my activities until recently.
What happened?
I don't want to talk about it. Sorry.
Did you have any suspects back then?
You can always find some suspect. I always dragged the most suspicious ones to the body in the morgue by force. And they threw up at the sight. Or fainted.
Couldn't it have just been an act?
Fainting? Vomiting? That's hard to act. I'd swear none of them did it.
Can you sum it all up for me?
We have 6 victims here, and I believe they were all murdered by the same killer. Unfortunately, we only know a little about the last 4, the most recent ones. By now, we won't learn anything about the first 2. Of the remaining 4, the first to be killed was the maidservant, Yarka. She was raised by Father Prokop from the Church of St. Peter and Paul. He should know the most about her. The next were Stanya and Zdena. Their bodies weren't found, but we assume they also became victims of the same murderer. They both hung around a tavern they called the Hole in the Wall. Stanya was an alehouse maid, and Zdena a pickpocket. And the last victim is Alice now, also a maid. What they all have in common is that they were young, beautiful, and brunette.
Beleza, sabemos de tudo.
I know everything I need to know.
When you learn something more, stop by and see me. You've aroused a bit of hope in me, lad. I hope you won't disappoint me.
Continua mijando aí. Vamos lá. Saiba mais sobre o destino da Lada Zdena. Descubra algo sobre a passada de Yarka.
His lungs up in the yard again today.
Not a chance.
Por aqui não dá mais, a gente vai ter que dar a volta mesmo. Não. Tá com você? Ah, sobre o assassinato com
I
você.
need to ask you a few questions.
I don't have time for theological discussions, my son.
That's not why I'm here. My name's Henry, and I wanted to ask about the murder that happened recently. Someone killed and gutted a young maidservant and left her body lying by the city walls. And I hear it's not the first time this has happened.
Another one murdered. May the Lord grant her eternal rest. Why is it you ask?
Somebody is murdering maids here. We have to put an end to it.
Yes, but those poor souls are already at God's side, and revenge never...
I don't want revenge. I want to stop more killing. That's a better reason, isn't it?
True enough. What do you need to know?
One of the other victims was a girl named Yarka. But I reckon you know that, don't you? What can you tell me about her?
About Yarka? She was an ordinary girl. She served the von Groll family.
Where did you know Yarka from?
I knew her since she was a little girl. Knew her family.
And?
I was her uncle. When my brother and his wife died, I took care of her.
Who do you think killed her?
William, that pig of Satan. He gambles in the tavern on All Saints' Day and leads the locals astray. Yarka always went there to listen to music.
Why do you think it was William? Do you have any evidence?
Evidence?
Ou só não
He's a
gosta dele?
skirt chaser, a tool of Satan. He messes with poor girls' heads.
Isso
And
não é
does anyone
motivo.
else come to mind? No other man spoke with her?
No, absolutely not.
You raised her? A priest with a child?
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not the first of the clergy to have a child on the side. But at least everyone knew Yarka wasn't my own daughter.
How does that even work? Did you have her with you at the presbytery?
When she was small, I could. But when she grew up, she had to go. It wouldn't look right.
No offense, but how did you know what to do? Without a wife, without a family?
Curiosidade.
I was a bit, son. When she was smaller, it was fine, but when she grew up a bit, maybe I was too hard on her.
Why do you think you were too hard on her?
Yarko was an orphan, with no family and no possessions. Her only chance of a good life was a good upbringing. And then, a husband. But the more I led her in that direction, the more she resisted me.
You're well off, though. Couldn't you provide for her?
I couldn't. Even if she had been my very own. More so, since she was my brother's.
But how come?
The church's property always remains the church's. They keep a close eye on that.
Mm-hmm.
How did she rebel against you?
She wouldn't listen. She ran away. She ran around with all sorts. And how did it turn out? She died. And in sin.
Caraca,
Such a
calma.
disgrace.
Disgrace? What the devil are you talking about?
She was pregnant.
Ooh.
Even if she had lived, what then? Nobody would want to marry her anymore.
Why don't you respect Lumiere?
That's my business. You needn't concern yourself about that. I won't tell you anything.
Mas isso é
But this
importante.
is important. Do I look like someone who's asking out of curiosity?
Não adianta você perder reputação.
Lumiere accused me of her murder.
Ah.
Yes. He slandered me in public.
And how... What happened then?
It turned out he was deranged. How could he even think such a thing? He's finished in Kuttenberg.
I've heard enough, Father. I'll be going.
Son, I'll give you some good advice. Don't listen to Lumiere. That man has gone completely mad.
Eu, hein? Vamos tentar vir pra cá. Conversar com esse pessoal aqui.
Good day to you.
Did Estania work here?
Stanya. Maybe. It
É muito
depends
desconfiada.
on who's asking.
My name's Henry.
Names don't interest me. The main thing is whether it's a good guest or a bad guest asking. What kind of guest are you, Henry?
I'm a good guest.
Really? Let's see. Do you know how to recognize a good guest?
By whether he's got coin.
Aye. No coin, no wine. As a wise man once said, I like talking to folks with coin. A lot. So,
Caraca.
what'll it be, my good man?
Filthy again. Damn it.
What if I simply paid you and you tell me what I want to know?
Ask away.
I want to know if Stania worked here.
She did. And she don't know more. What's it to you?
I heard she disappeared without a trace. So I'm trying to find out if anyone had anything to do with it.
It's possible. The chamber she was sleeping in here was totally ransacked. The door open. Everything emptied out. And Stanya was gone. All I found were bloody footprints.
Tell me something else.
First, you'll have another beer. Or is it time to pay?
What?
If you want to ask, you have to drink. Didn't you get that?
You're quite the extortionist.
I prefer to be called an enterprising man of trade. So, what'll it be?
Tá
I'm
bom.
getting tired of this. I'll give you the money up front, and that's all you'll get. Whether I'm a good guest or bad. Got it? Now you're gonna spill it. Got it?
All right, all right.
Did anybody see what actually happened when Stanya disappeared?
No, it was at night.
Nobody saw or heard anything. The tavern tends to be empty at that hour, and you won't meet many people on the street, neither.
What was Stanya like? What can you tell me about her?
A bold woman. One has to be here. Everyone's ballsy here unless you nip it in the bud right away. She was hanging around a bard for a while. I don't know how close they were, but she also had another suitor.
Someone from the city?
No, a charcoal burner. I heard he was from somewhere in the, Verchlitz Valley. I think his name was Barton?
What do you know about that bard?
What about him? He's a minstrel, a skirt chaser. What more can I say? He called himself William. As far as I know, he plays in the miners' tavern in the evenings. But sometimes he shows up here, too.
You think he might have been the one who...
Now that you mention it, he cleared out of town for a while and only came back not long ago. It could be him, all right. I know he met with some odd people and talked about God knows what, like bloody spies. Besides,
Esse cara é
you know what
dos
minstrels are
suspeitos.
like. Lasses just flock to them. And like they say, opportunity makes the thief.
Or in this case, a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from those men, did anyone else know Stanya? I mean, more intimately.
Well, I got bad news for you. She had 2 close friends, but you won't get much out of either of them.
Why?
One was hit by a cart, even before Stanya disappeared, and she died. And the other one got married and moved away.
How did Stanya's room look?
The door was wide open. Most of her things were gone, but some remained. And there was blood all over the place.
Blood? Was there a lot?
Not so much, really. More like hand or footprints. But they were near everywhere. If someone done her in, they definitely didn't do it in that chamber.
Where can I find this Barton?
I already told you. In the Verchlitz Valley.
Could you be a bit more precise?
I don't know that bloke at all. All I know is he's a charcoal burner. So if I was you, I'd look somewhere around the charcoal kilns.
That's all I need to know.
Beleza, menos um pra conversar. Porco, dá pra aprender mais alguma coisa com ele? Dá pra familiarizar-se? Fale-me sobre você, sobre a guilda. Acho que não, por enquanto não. Quem é?
Are you Sternad? The one that went with Zdenna?
Who the fuck are you?
Just an ordinary bloke who has some questions.
Well then, piss off. You won't get any answers here. All you're gonna get here is a kick in the teeth.
Why so rash? That kind of attitude will do you no favors. Let's make a deal. You tell me everything you know about Zdenna, and I'll make sure you're no worse for wear.
Ah. You're the lord what that whore robbed. Don't worry about it. She weren't nothing but a lying bitch.
Eita.
So, if I understand correctly, we can make a deal?
For the right price, I'll tell you all I know.
Caraca. Todo mundo quer me extorquir?
Is this the right price?
You fucking bet it is. Ask away and I'll tell you everything.
Where can I find Zdenna?
Aye. That's what I like to fucking know too. Last time I saw her... Well, that'd be back when she managed to fleece you.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to find her.
I can well imagine. Well, she went to Rabstein Mill. It's quite a long ways away. She had some unfinished business with some bloke called Pint. Ain't nobody seen her since then.
What can you tell me about Zdenna?
What do you want to hear? I try to keep her out of trouble, but there's just no helping some women.
So you were taking care of her?
Well, just in front of the others. Other than that, she did what she wanted. Always made her mind up and did things her own way.
So you weren't too fond of her?
Not really, no. But she did have a knack for making coin.
Did she have any friends or lovers who'd know more?
Caramba, essa era perigosa,
Did anybody
hein?
come here to see her?
Who come to see that bitch? She was always off somewhere, seeing someone. Although, once...
Someone came to see her?
Well, aye. Some stuffed frock came here once. All old and decrepit. He said he had some job for her. That she should leave behind her sinful life and all that shit. But he left empty-handed. She told him to go to hell.
Do you know who that priest was?
Some fucking Prokop or Pravoslav or some such shit. But that reminds me, I saw her a couple of times with another bastard. That fucking bard,
William. De novo.
And could she have run away with this bard, William?
With that lily-livered fop? Well, he ain't been seen in town for some time, but I think someone was out to get him. He still don't come here no more. He plucks that loot of his in the miners' tavern. The wee shit.
What do you know about this priest?
Not much. Seems they knew each other from before. And he had some job for her somewhere. Serving as a maid or something. But she weren't stupid. She told him to fuck right off.
And did he go?
Aye, indeed. He didn't look like the kind of fella that would knock some sense into a woman. I think he just told her if she changed her mind to come and see him. Or some shit like that.
And could she have changed her mind and gone to him? And that's why nobody's seen her?
No, no. She took off. I'm sure about that.
I've heard enough.
Imagina, sem pai, sem mãe, sem nada, sem perspectiva de vida. Criada por um padre que não sabe fazer criação direito e nem tem condição pra criar. Funcionário Quartilho.
Are you Pint?
I am. Why?
I'm looking for his Denner.
I don't know any Denner.
Sternad said something different.
You're a friend of Sternad's, are you?
Actually, I don't really know him that well. But he's the only one I know who knew Denner. And he sent me to you.
Well, if he told you that, I reckon it's all right. He's not much of a traitorous rat, I reckon.
I wouldn't entirely count on that. So you knew Denner? Can you tell me something about her?
I know Denner all right. But she ain't been here in some time. Why are you looking for her? What do you want from her?
I'm looking for a... Back in the city, they think she's either dead or run off somewhere. And you're the last person to see her before she went missing.
Kurva.
What can you tell me about Denner?
She always had it hard. She lost her parents and her home as a child. She had to learn to take care of herself.
And what about Sternad? How does he fit into this?
Sternad was her guardian angel, as she used to say. If she hadn't been thieving with him, she probably would have ended up a whore. But by sharing with him, she could do what she wanted.
Uh-huh. I'm surprised she stuck with him as long as she did.
That's because she had a hideout somewhere nearby. That's why she'd come to me with her loot, before they taxed her on the spot. And the last time she was here, she said one more haul like this, and she'll be able to go wherever she wanted, to Prague or Vienna.
I heard she wanted to sell you some valuables. Is that true?
Oh, aye. She had a good haul, no rubbish. Mostly jewelry, rings, one signet ring with a coat of arms and everything.
Caraca.
She left it all here. I paid her a pretty sum of coin. It was a good thing she had a basket with her, otherwise she couldn't have carried it all.
And what about that signet ring? Do you still have it?
She didn't sell me the ring. She wanted to keep it. Said it'd bring her luck someday.
Do you know what kind of luck she meant? Did you recognize the signet on the ring?
No, I didn't recognize that signet. But all the while, Dana was giggling to herself. I reckon she had her eye on another mark.
Where did she go next from here? You said she had a lot of coin on her.
That she did. She also had a feeling someone was following her. Someone on a horse.
Someone followed her on a horse from Kuttenberg. Did she say what he looked like?
She didn't. At first, she thought it was some wealthy lord out for a ride. But he held back. Never passed by her and...
And did you see him? Did he come all the way here?
No. But Zdena thought he would show. She even left her scarf here and paid some girl to walk around with it to make it look like she was still here.
And then where'd she go?
She wanted to go the back way, through the woods, so nobody could follow her. past the woods is a road and a ford across a stream. Next to it is a huge boulder. When it rains, the water can rise fast. The road goes on to Kuttenberg.
Well, if it leads back to the road and there was really someone following her, I reckon if they saw she was long in returning, they could have waited for her at the ford, no?
Fuck! That's quite possible. I made a point of looking, but I didn't see any riders that day, so I forgot about it.
Is Dennis' scarf? Do you still have it?
Aye. I wanted to give it back to her the next time she came.
Will you give it to me? I'll try having my dog track her down.
All the same to me. Here you go. But it's been a long time. I don't know if it will help.
And could it have been Father Prokop following her?
What do I know? If he has a horse and fancy clothes. But why would he do it?
I heard he wanted to find her an honest job, but she wasn't interested.
I don't know. She didn't say nothing about that.
Será que esse
Could it have been
William?
William?
And who would that be?
He's this bard she was seeing.
I don't know about that. I don't remember her mentioning nobody by that name.
Well, I'll go and check out that ford. Maybe I'll find something there.
I hope you don't. Take care, sir. God grant you health.
That has to be that ford Pint was talking about. I should take a look around here.
Tem alguma desgrampa pra cá. Tá muito legal isso não.
Track.
Vai lá, minha filha. Leva a gente pro caminho. Eita, preula.
Poor thing. She didn't get very far. Ugh, she's been lying here a long time. At first glance, this body isn't as mutilated as the others. Unfortunately, I can't tell if somebody strangled her like the others. She's been lying here too long for that, but her head is smashed in. Either the murderer hit her with a rock, or dashed her hard against the ground. She must have put up a fight. Or maybe he lost his patience. Oh, she's all stuck to her clothes. They're torn up, but I don't see any cuts. The rips are odd. Like someone was looking for something. Oh, I can't make much out by now. But it seems as if the fingers on her right hand are broken. Did the murderer torture her? Or was he trying to get something out of her hand?
Ela roubou alguma coisa de alguém que não devia.
My God. Oh, something fell out of her. A signet ring. That must be the one she stole. But how did it get inside her? Did she swallow it herself? Or did the murderer shove it in there? Was she trying to hide it? Or was it punishment for stealing? Well, that's enough. But what does it all mean? I'd say she put up a decent fight, and the killer had to improvise, and that's about all I can find out. She's probably been lying here a few weeks, but that ring is a good lead.
Meu Deus. É, ela teve um destino que não deveria ter tido. Mas fazer o quê? O padre foi atrás dela, oferecendo emprego. Você.
I'm looking for someone named Stanya.
You're in a charcoal camp, fella. What would a woman be doing here?
But you know Stanya, don't you?
Aye. You could say that. Why?
I'm looking for the killer of a girl in town. And I heard that someone also tried to kill this Stanya.
That's true. She told me something like that. But that was a long time ago.
So you don't know what became of her?
I really don't know, mate. But even if I did know, how can I be sure you aren't that killer?
Lumir himself, the Kuttenberg bailiff's former scribe, gave me the task. He was looking into her disappearance, and he sent me to find her.
Well, I don't know. I remember Lumir. He was all right. That's all true, but...
But what? What are you still brooding over?
You seem like the right man for a job like that. Sorry, but after all that happened to Stanya, I like to be careful.
So Stanya is here?
Aye. She's hiding with us. Since that thing happened, she's afraid to even go outside. I don't know what to do with her anymore.
Can I speak to her?
If it'll help you. She's hiding in that cottage. But be nice to her. She's in a bad way. She used to be such a gutsy girl. Till we meet again.
Ah, essa tá viva pelo menos. Muito legal que todo mundo se lava as coisas e bebe essa água. Esse cachorro também. E falta de saneamento básico. Acampamento dos carvoeiros. Ela tá nessa cabana aqui? É você.
Who are you? How did you find me? If you came here to finish what you started, I'm not afraid of you. I'll claw your eyes out.
Calma, meu filho, calma.
Barton told me where to find you.
Barton sent you to me. What do you want from me?
Lumir thought you were dead. I was supposed to find out what happened to you.
Lumir? From the rat house. He sent you.
Exactly. Someone killed a girl in Kuttenberg. Lumir thought it might be connected with you, so maybe you could help us find out who did it.
How can I help you when I haven't been in Kuttenberg since... I don't even know when.
You disappeared from the hole in the wall without saying goodbye. Without a word. What happened?
Someone attacked me when I was coming home from the baths one night. I managed to get away, but I was so afraid. I decided to run away from Kuttenberg.
Did you see who it was?
Not at all. I didn't see anything until he jumped out of the shadows and grabbed me around the neck. And he was terribly strong. I nearly blacked out right away.
And how did you manage to break free?
I had an empty pitcher in my hand, and I hit him with it. He howled and let me go, and I ran away.
Here? To the charcoal burners?
No, first to my room in the hole. But I was so scared there. I took what I could and ran. Here, to Barton.
And your lover? What did he say?
At first he was horrified, because I had cut myself on a shard from the pitcher and was all bloody. He's been hiding me here since then.
What was it like working in the hole?
Well, I earned a few groschen, that I did. But I often had to grit my teeth.
How so?
Every single day I had to put up with their lewd remarks. Rich or poor, everyone wants to grope a girl. People, well, us girls have to watch out. We can't just put up with it, and sometimes we have to be tough, especially in a place like the hole. But you can't overdo it either. That's no good.
How so?
Because if you smile at them nicely, then sometimes they leave a groschen, or even two. You have to keep a balance. To look friendly, but unavailable.
You said that rich or poor, they all like to grope girls. Like who?
Truth be told, the hole isn't exactly a good place for a rich man, but young von Groll used to go there for a while.
Is that so? Did he talk to you?
He smiled at me a lot, so I smiled back, but beyond a few groschen, there was nothing more to it. Then this thieving wench started hanging around him and... oh, it doesn't matter. But that servant of his didn't like it, tried to drive her away, and so the young lord stopped bringing him with him.
Von Groller had a servant with him?
Aye, a pudgy fella, well-dressed, but had a mean face. He never said a word or smiled, or even said thank you.
You walked home from the baths at night.
What's so odd about that?
Well, at night, the baths are...
Ah, right. I went there after closing. I always brought the girls a pitcher of wine or ale and took a bath while they drank it.
Aha. So that's why you had the empty pitcher you hit him with?
Right. I went there regularly. Every week.
The same way every time?
Aye, always the same way. The shortest one. I didn't want to stay out too long at night.
And who knew that you went by yourself to the baths?
Well, everyone from the tavern, I reckon. I didn't hide it.
Why didn't you go back to the hole?
Just to get murdered there? Are you mad? I'm never going back there. Not until they catch him.
How are you now?
I'm still awful scared. I can't fall asleep knowing that, and I can't even really leave the house.
Do you remember anything important about the attacker? What he looked like? What he was wearing?
I don't know anything. It was at night. He grabbed me from behind, and then I ran and never turned back.
And what about when you hit him? What did he do?
He let me go and cursed.
Aha. And what did he say?
He said Scheisse in German.
Seems you're the only one to survive the killer's attack. I know it isn't easy for you to think about it, but try to remember something else about that moment, or when you were running away. Anything can help us, even if it seems insignificant.
I don't know. It's all like in a fog.
You were walking down the street. Did you notice anything before he attacked you?
No, nothing.
You didn't see anything or hear anything?
Actually, I knew the side street wasn't empty. I heard somebody talking, but when I looked, there was nobody there. So when somebody grabbed me, I completely froze.
Did you understand what they were talking about?
Not at all. But there were two voices. Two of them waiting for me there.
It's difficult, I understand. But I need you to think hard one more time. Aside from those voices and the empty street, what else do you remember?
I didn't hear him at all, and then he grabbed me.
And nothing else? Did he grab your hair?
Well, no. He grabbed me by the throat right away and squeezed, just for a moment, but I still had a big bruise round my neck for weeks. Barton said the man must have had a terribly strong grip, like a miner or swordsman.
Couldn't it have been that innkeeper then? You yourself said he's a pig.
Aye, when he drinks, he turns into a total bastard. All lewd remarks and groping fingers. The lecher. Only when I got to my room, I could hear him snoring. It couldn't have been him.
Couldn't it have been Father Prokop?
Father Prokop? I don't know him.
No, he's pretty old. He preaches in the Church of St. Peter and St. Paul.
I don't know him. And if he's an old man, how strong could his grip really be?
I heard William liked pretending to be a spy. Do you know anything about that?
Aye, I thought it pretty silly. A stupid trick to make himself seem more interesting. Though I reckon he's more likely to attract an ass-kicking than a woman.
I reckon that'll be all.
I'm sorry I'm not able to help you more.
You don't need to apologise.
Thank you. Could I ask you for a favour?
If it's in my power.
When you catch that bastard, would you please let me know? So I can finally stop being afraid.
I'll stop by if I can.
Take care then.
Você sabe que de vez em quando eu esqueço de falar como fala. De falar pro pessoal. Depois que tá tudo bem. Provavelmente eu vou esquecer de falar com ela. Interrogue o Ilian, o menestrel. Tá tudo apontando pra ele. Então, ou vai dar bom ou vai dar ruim. De qualquer modo, estamos chegando de noite. Então...
It's William, right? I need to talk to you.
What is it? Do we know each other? Do I owe you money?
My name's Henry.
And no, we don't know each other, and you don't owe me money. But we do have something in common. We have a lot of mutual friends.
What? What do you want of me? I don't have to talk to you.
Well, you don't have to, that's true. But you should. It's in your own best interest.
What are you talking about?
If you don't start giving me some answers right now, I reckon you'll end up begging in the streets. Because I'll break all your fingers, and you'll never play the lute again, you miserable minstrel.
What? No! Come on, I didn't do anything!
Stop whining and talk, or I'll be the one doing something to you.
Come on. All right, then. Ask away.
Did you know Alice?
I know a lot of Alices. You have to be more specific.
The one they found dead somewhere below the town walls.
Oh, her. I didn't know her, but I heard about it.
I heard she used to go to dances.
Yeah, and? I'm not the only musician in the city. I really didn't know her.
They say she had a rich young suitor. Do you know anything about that?
Me? Do I look rich to you? I get paid in food.
But you could at least pass yourself off as wealthy.
Or I could claim to be the Virgin Mary, but I doubt anyone would believe me.
Cover artístico. Cover artístico não vai pra ele. Vai pro dono do bagulho.
And did you ever meet Yarka? It was a long time ago, but I heard she used to hang around you a lot. And Father Prokop didn't like it.
Oh, that one. Aye, she was very keen on my company for a while, but then she stopped coming.
Because somebody killed her?
I know what happened was a tragedy, but it wasn't my fault. She stopped talking to me long before that. Honest.
And did you know she was pregnant?
What? Yarka was... That's horrible. Who would kill a pregnant woman?
That's what I'd like to find out. What about the unwilling father-to-be? It wouldn't happen to be yours, would it?
What? Mine? I never even got under her skirt. We just flirted a bit, and then she stopped coming by.
And can you tell me anything else about it?
I don't know anything. It was a long time ago. You said so yourself.
And I hear you knew Stanya.
Which one do you mean?
The alehouse wench from the hole. I heard you had something with her too.
Well, she batted her eyes at me a couple of times when I was still playing there. A nice girl, but I didn't know her much.
And the innkeeper Mole told me a different story. He said you were the one coming on to her.
Fine, we had a bit of fun together. But she was always the one who started it.
Before she gave you the boot for an ordinary charcoal burner.
That's not true. She'd been seeing that charcoal burner long before she met me.
And you didn't mind?
Why should I? I didn't want to marry her.
So what did you want from her then?
You're yanking my pizzle, right? Of course I wanted to fuck her, but no, we never got around to it.
Someone wanted to kill her.
What? Her? Yeah, but... What does that have to do with me? It wasn't me, and I don't know anybody who'd want to do that either.
And what about Zdena? You knew her, right?
Do I know Zdena? As wild as the wind and always full of life. And those nimble fingers. You always had to check your purse around her.
Did she steal something from you?
A traveling minstrel doesn't have much to steal, but she was well aware of that. She was on the lookout for some better prey.
Well, Zdena's days of stealing are over.
They caught her. I told her she'd be better off traveling the world with me.
And worse. Someone killed her. It's been a while now.
So her too? Jesus Christ.
Estamos investigando, meu filho. Estamos investigando.
I'm sorry.
Thanks. Though it should have occurred to me since you're asking about her.
You don't happen to know who she wanted to rob?
There were lots. Anyone she thought was rich enough who let her ply her charms for a while. Like young von Groller. When he started coming here, she got to him right away. Said she was gonna rob him blind.
And might she have stolen a ring from him?
I don't know. I had to disappear before she succeeded. Look, why are you asking me about all this? You don't seriously think I killed her, do you?
Well, you didn't know them all.
And? I'm surely not the only one.
That may be true. But everybody knows you're a skirt chaser, and they were all pretty girls. And now, they're dead.
But I had nothing to do with it!
I don't believe a word you say, and I'll make certain you pay for your deeds.
You're out of your mind! I didn't do nothing to those girls. Nobody will believe you.
Testar a força dele? Ah, eu mesmo vou cuidar de você, é o que vamos ver.
Oh, come on. Pull yourself together and stop squirming. Are you a man or a worm?
What do you want from me?
Give me your hand and swear that you didn't kill them.
I swear that I didn't hurt any of those girls or kill them. Ow! Not so hard, damn it! You're crushing my fingers.
I didn't mean to. I thought you were stronger. But I believe you're not lying.
Ele não tem muita força. O cara que, como fala, o cara que atacou elas tem muita força.
I found out some interesting things about those murders. Just like you said.
That's wonderful news. But wait a while. I promised Katherine we'd wait for her.
You know Katherine?
She came to see me soon after you did, and started asking me questions. Just like you.
Will you send for her? So, we're all here.
I hope nobody else shows up. How did it go?
I reckon I've found out all I can.
And do you know who the murderer is?
Not exactly, but I have a few ideas.
I've asked around a bit, and I have my own suspicions.
Is that so? See, I was trying to recall some more details, and I had someone come to mind as well.
Oh, I didn't do all this for nothing, did I?
Well,
Vai, vai lá ver ela
Katherine,
primeiro.
who do you suspect?
Well, I think it was that priest, Prokop.
that's nonsense. It couldn't have been him.
Couldn't have? Then who do you think it was?
It had to be William. Nobody else knew them all.
God, now you're talking nonsense. I'm sure William is innocent.
So I see we disagree. Too bad. We could have been done with it quickly.
Well, who do you think it was then?
I'm not entirely sure. First, I'll tell you what I found out, and then it might be easier for us.
Go on then. Starting with who?
Let's talk about Yarka, the one raised by Father Prokop.
What did you learn about her?
Ela foi criada pelo Prokop. Prokop era rígido com ela. Ela serviu a família von Grole.
Yarka started working for the von Grolle family, where she remained until her death.
I was there to ask whether she'd given them any trouble, but they said she was always thorough and reliable.
Ah, so what's the story with von Grolls?
A very wealthy and important family. The mother is quite devout, known to spend a lot of time in prayer. Old von Groller's been sick for years. Can't even get out of bed.
So, who runs affairs?
That would be young Hendel. They say he's quite successful.
Prokop didn't just raise her out of the goodness of his heart. He was actually her uncle.
Really? But he still could have killed her.
His own relative?
Why not? He's a priest. I'm sure he knows the story of Cain and Abel.
Prokop also admitted that he didn't know how to handle her, and perhaps he was too strict.
What do you expect from a Bible thumper? Man punishes and God forgives. It never occurs to them that if man didn't punish, God wouldn't have to forgive.
Well, maybe I wouldn't hold it against him. He really tried to make sure she was well taken care of. He wanted to find her a husband, too.
And did you learn who he found?
No. I think it fell apart when Yarka started rebelling.
And now, most importantly, Yarka was pregnant when they killed her.
I didn't know that. Do you know for sure? So they gutted her?
To make it impossible to tell she was pregnant? I wouldn't be surprised.
May God forgive us.
Do you know who she was pregnant with? Because if we know who the father is, we'll likely know who the killer is.
She didn't tell Prokop.
It had to be someone from those dances. Maybe William.
Não.
Before her death, I heard she often
Não é
went
ele.
to
Ele não
dances.
tem força.
There's nothing wrong or surprising about that. But maybe she found someone there.
Maybe. Prokop was convinced that she went to see William. That was actually the only name he mentioned.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means she had some relationship with William. Or at least knew him.
Prokop is convinced that she was murdered by that bard, William.
And I agree with him. I heard the daughters of important men come to see him. It even went so far he had to flee the city. And the moment he's back, there's another murder.
Really? But I found out you accused Prokop first, Lumir.
What? Why?
It doesn't matter. It was a mistake. And I paid for it.
And were you as sure then as you are now about William?
I don't think so.
No.
But he's a skirt chaser. If he got Yarka pregnant, then...
Perhaps. But why would he kill and mutilate her? He could have just run away.
But then he could never come back.
Why not? He could come back a year later, once things have died down, the child would be born, the shame forgotten, and nobody would bring it up again.
I suppose that makes sense. That's all I was able to find out.
You still found out more than I did.
But it's not enough. We still don't know who the killer is.
But we can agree that she was killed because of her pregnancy, can't we?
Agreed. Somebody got rid of her to make sure nobody found out she was pregnant.
I'm sure William wanted...
William isn't the only man with a prick. And he certainly didn't use it to strangle her to death.
Such language. What are you trying to say?
That William isn't the only man in the city. It could have been anyone. And now we'll never find out.
I'm not
Do jeito
saying
que ela
it
era,
couldn't
pode
have
ser
been
qualquer
him,
mesmo.
though I don't think it was. It just seems foolish to only focus on him.
I suppose you're right. Let's forget it.
I managed to find Stanya.
Alive? You found her alive?
I did. Alive and well. Hiding with the charcoal burners.
So, she's not one of our victims?
She is. She just managed to escape the killer. She said she was attacked on her way home from the baths. She heard somebody talking in a side street, but it was empty. But when she walked by, someone grabbed her by the throat and started strangling her.
And how did she manage to get away?
She was holding an empty pitcher, and she smashed the killer in the face with it. He either got startled or hurt, but he let her go.
Did she get a look at him? Did she take his eye out or something?
No, she didn't stop to find out. Just ran. Which is probably why she survived.
And what about the blood in the bedroom?
She cut her hand on the broken pitcher. She didn't stay in her room for long. She was still so scared that she grabbed her things and ran off to her beloved charcoal burner. She said she returned from the baths in the evening regularly, and somebody knew exactly which way she would take and where to wait for her.
You mean someone followed her beforehand to figure out where to ambush her?
Who knew that she went to the baths?
Apparently everyone in the tavern. She didn't hide the fact. She also said she was sure it wasn't Mole. He may be a pig, but the evening she ran home, he was in bed snoring. Well, according to Stanya, the murderer had a terribly strong grip. Her neck was bruised for almost a month.
Doesn't almost every man have a strong grip?
Depending on what they take in hand every day. A tankard, a quill, or a hammer.
Except none of our suspects are miners or blacksmiths, eh? According to Stanya, the murderer didn't say a word the entire time.
That's strange, right? I'd expect him to at least call her a whore.
The only word he uttered was when she smashed him in the face with the pitcher. He said Scheisse.
So, we're looking for a German?
Even I say Scheiße sometimes, and I'm not German.
Besides that, she also recalled hearing 2 voices in the alley. Someone was talking to the killer.
So we have a witness. Now, just to find him.
Ou um
Or an
cúmplice.
accomplice. If I remember correctly, the other one must have seen the whole thing, right? And he didn't go to report it.
I asked Stanya if she knew Prokop. She said no.
Maybe she just doesn't remember him. Or he gave a different name, or...
I don't think Father Prokop is the type to frequent the worst tavern in Kuttenberg.
Stanya admitted that she knows William. He flirted with her and tried to get to know her better. Nothing came of it.
And that's probably why I wanted to kill her. And likely rape her before that.
Well, perhaps, but Stanya doesn't think so. She's sure it wasn't William, and no matter what they say about him, in her eyes he's a good lad. And that's all that Stanya told me.
I'm so glad that girl is alive.
Me too. At least someone's had a little luck. Does she want to come back, or will she stay with the charcoal burners?
I don't think she'll come back. She's so scared now they'll come back for her, she doesn't even leave the house. I managed to find Zdena.
You found her? Is she alive too?
No. Unfortunately, she's dead.
And where did you find her?
Pretty far away. Near the mill she used to sell things at. Someone caught her in the forest when she was coming home with a load of coin and killed her. I reckon she put up a hell of a fight. So the killer got nervous and ended things quickly.
So he didn't strangle or mutilate her?
She'd been lying in the woods for a long time, so I couldn't really tell. But he definitely didn't hack her up like the others. Judging by what her accomplice said, she robbed someone good. She had so much jewelry on her, she could hardly carry it. And what's odd is when she was murdered, the killer left her basket of valuables behind.
So I reckon he didn't kill her for the money.
She said someone followed her on horseback from Kuttenberg. She tried to lose him, but apparently wasn't able to.
On horseback? I don't suppose she described him, did she?
Only as a wealthy type who never got too close.
That doesn't fit in with the previous murders.
Essa tá complicada.
Father Prokop came looking for Zdena and nearly cursed her on the spot.
What did he have in common with a thief?
He had also looked after her, but unlike Yarka, she ended up on the street, and he took it badly. Zdena tried to rob young von Grolle. It's possible she succeeded.
Von Grolle? Yarka worked for them, didn't she?
That whole family is suspicious.
Eu tô achando que a gente precisa investigar eles.
Nothing more.
I'd say it's pretty obvious. Why else would I have found that ring on her?
They just left the ring by her body? That's odd, isn't it?
It wasn't by her body. It was inside of it. I don't know if she swallowed it herself or someone shoved it in her.
Oh, that's awful. But I can't say it surprises me.
My mouth is starting to hurt from all this blabbering.
So are my ears and head.
Come now, we're nearly there. We just need to find our suspect. So, Henry, who do you think did it?
Nossa, porque ele até falou que a garganta dele tá seca porque essa missão tem falação pra caramba. Tem muita falação. Não foi o Prokop, não foi o William, porque o William é fraco. Eu tô achando que é um dos Von Grolle ou é um, como fala? Ou é aquele ajudante lá do Von Grolle que tá fazendo isso. Aquele lá que fica com a cara fechada na taverna. Os caras falaram que ele não fala nada, entendeu? Ou ele tá lá estrangulando pro cara fazer alguma coisa depois, amando do filho da família lá. Entendeu? Então eu tô achando que são eles.
I suspect one of the Von Grolles.
What leads you to think that?
Are you sure it wasn't William?
Yarka was their maidservant until she started rebelling, right?
Yes. Do you think she was rebelling because of someone in particular?
Perhaps the young lord?
That's possible.
Alice had a young and wealthy suitor. And young Von Grolle fits both descriptions.
True, true.
We could be getting somewhere.
Yarka was pregnant. And if the father was young von Groller, it would make sense if he got rid of her.
Sakura, you're right.
But William could have fucked her too. Just saying.
Zdeno was followed by someone on a horse. Von Groller could afford a horse.
That's not so sure, is it? And maybe the horse was stolen or borrowed.
But it certainly worsens the case for him. That much is true.
Zdeno robbed von Groller.
That's true.
It's all coming together, isn't it?
And that's all I can pin on him.
So, do we agree that it was young von Groll?
Well, old von Groller can't do much now, can he?
So do we really agree that our most likely suspect is young von Groller?
Aye. I agree.
I don't have a problem with it. Little rich boys are capable of anything. But what are we gonna do about it? Our suspicions aren't enough.
They'll just laugh at us without something more tangible.
So, you want to search their house?
There's nothing else we can do. There must be a clever way to do it.
We have to find some evidence. None of our conjecture is enough. What will we do?
You could sneak in there.
Or break in.
Katherine, that's not necessary. The young lad wants to learn swordsmanship, and the old one is sick and always calling for a physician.
So I can either pretend to be a sawbones, or a swordsman, or break in? That's a lot of options.
You're a clever lad. You'll figure it out.
Temos muitas opções agora. Vamos ter que investigar o jovem von Groll. Sendo um médico, aquilo que ele consegue ser. Sendo um mestre de esgrima.
Can I help you?
Is this the house of the von Groller family?
Yes.
I'm
Treina ele.
Henry of Skalitz. Master Menhard from Frankfurt sent me to train young Master Hendel in sword fighting.
I'm sorry, but I know nothing about it.
Are you telling me I'm not expected? The Master Swordsman won't be pleased.
No, this is surely my mistake. Please, come in. Go to the courtyard. You'll have more than enough room there. I'll send the young master to you immediately. God be with you, good sir.
E aí?
I must admit that I didn't expect anyone so soon. Master Menhard said I'd have to wait a while for my lessons.
Well, that's true. But we had an opening, and Master Menhard immediately thought of you.
But of course. That's good. It doesn't matter. I'm actually glad it turned out like it did. At least Mother will leave me alone for a while.
What do you mean?
She's always trying to keep me at home. Says I go out with girls too much. She'd rather have me praying all day and night like her.
Well, maybe a sword fighting lesson will help you.
Maybe. But first I want to see if you have anything to teach me. Ready?
I'm not. I've only got a sharp weapon.
Really? You wanted to draw iron right away. Well, I can lend you one. But next time, bring your own. Ich reiß dir deinen Arsch auf!
Well, I hope the young lord
Nossa,
is assured
muito
he has
fácil.
much to learn from me.
Yes. The young lord learned it the hard way.
And after a few lessons, you'll only get better.
I hope so. I know the basic steps, but lack the finesse. I admit.
Excellent. That's enough for today. But before I go, I'd like to ask you something. What type of weapon are you most interested in?
A sword, of course. It is fitting for someone of my standing.
And what about a cleaver? Or a hunting sword?
Pah! A cleaver is more fitting for some yokel or bandit. Or a butcher. And a hunting sword? My father used to have a beautiful one. I don't even know what happened to it. I wouldn't be ashamed of that one. But otherwise, they are for fat burghers and poor mercenaries.
And what about an axe? Have you ever held one?
No! Do you take me for a woodcutter?
Enough small talk. I want you to practice the basic posture. Nice and slow.
Yes, master.
Nossa.
And I was beginning to worry what that was. But it's just you. Never mind. I'm going back.
Misericórdia, ele é tenebroso. Ele é tenebroso. Ninguém viu nada. Troféu das vítimas.
What the hell? That's hair. All kinds of brown. I bet it belonged to those dead girls. If this isn't proof, nothing is.
Ou seja... Licença, licença. Licença. Agora a gente precisa ir pra lá. Voando. Então ele guarda as mechas dos cabelos que ele arranca. Você tá aqui. Vem.
I need to discuss that visit to the Von Grollers.
Excellent. Let's find Katherine. You can tell us everything.
I think we were right. Something seriously fishy there.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. What did you find out?
You found something there, didn't you? Evidence?
I certainly did. In the young lord's room.
What was it?
This. He had it in a chest in his room. Locks of hair. All brown, but all a bit different. They're definitely from those murdered girls.
Hair? But that's not enough. That definitely won't suffice as proof.
Why wouldn't it? He took them as a keepsake from the dead girls, as a trophy. It was him!
But nobody will believe us. We need more than just hair. A bloody dress or the murder weapon.
And to be honest, I don't think we're going to find anything like that. They're pretty careful to cover their tracks.
Damn it. We're fucked. If we at least had a witness.
And what about 3 witnesses at once?
Where are you going to find 3 witnesses when you don't even have one?
I don't yet, but... Look, We're almost certain young Hendel did it. So what if we set a trap and catch him in the act?
And how do you want to do that? I mean, we don't know who he's planning to murder next.
We'll set someone up. Some brunette.
You want to sacrifice some poor girl?
No, nobody's gonna get hurt. We'll be keeping our eye on her the whole time.
The only one I can think of is Stanya. And I highly doubt that she'd want to risk her life again.
She won't have to. I'll do it.
But you haven't had anything to do with him. He'll see through it immediately. It'll fail.
We'll wait until the lad's out of the house. Maybe we'll dress Katherine up a bit, and she'll go asking for the young lord, father of her child. When Hendel comes home and hears what happened, he'll come looking for her to fix things up.
I'll cause such a scene, they'll be talking about it for years. Then we'll tell them where he can find me, and we've got him.
If you say so. But where can we do it? We can't do it here. They'd figure it out pretty quick.
We can use one of the rooms here in the tavern. It has only one way out. You'll be hiding across the way, and jump out at the right moment. I repeat, at the right moment.
Don't worry, we won't take our eyes off you.
Where's Hendel? I need to talk to him! Do you hear me? I have to talk to him about our wedding. I won't be left alone with his child.
What are you screeching about, you ninny? There's no Hendel here. Certainly not for the likes of you.
Do you hear that, folks? He fucks me from all sides. Gets me with child, and now he doesn't want to know me. Get rid of her. Disgrace. Oh, so a poor woman has to suffer because of a man's lust. As if it wasn't already bad enough before.
What?
Cara
Lies?
triste,
Are
não tem
you
como.
spouting, you strumpet? Goodman Hendel never laid eyes on you. Besides, you're too old for him. Nobody will believe your lies.
Old am I? He came to me himself because he wanted a mature woman to breed with. And he never even pulled it out. And he filled me up like a wineskin.
Caraca, vai... Nossa. Ela abasteceu as fofocas da cidade inteira por uma semana.
Time to think it over. But either you come up with an offer of marriage by evening, or first thing in the morning I'll go to the bailiff. And I'll be damn sure to get justice from him.
Caraca. Ela é loucaça.
It's open.
I've come to talk with you.
Where's Hendel?
Hendel? You wanton whore! Debauching my son! A nanny goat like you! The others were at least young, but you! Christ, the trials I have to endure! A husband with both feet in the grave and a son who'll fuck anything with a hole in it.
Caraca.
Slice her up so no one will recognize her, and in case what she says is true, gut her too.
Gutting, is it? I can help you with that.
Toma.
Bitch, you fool!
Caraca, pega a véia. Pega a véia. Ué? Ué?
You can't take me!
Agora você vê. Já que eu tô...
Before I finish you off, I have to ask, why the fuck did you kill them?
I'll tell you. But you aren't going to like it.
I'm listening.
Because it's the right thing to do.
What's right about murder?
All those whores had it coming.
You know that's not true. Stan you hardly knew Hendel, and you still tried to kill her. How many of the others had the same story?
Rubbish. I saw it with my own 2 eyes, and not just me. He might have met the alehouse wench by chance, but they were intimate together. The mistress was convinced they were meeting in the evenings.
Well, she might have been convinced, but that doesn't mean she was right. That girl had a sweetheart.
That's even worse. He surely wasn't a rich and important person like Master Hendel, and she would even cheat on our master with him? Disgusting.
Confess, then. How many of them did you kill altogether?
Not enough! There's always more who deserve it. They climb out of their holes like rats and infect respectable families.
Olha, que
Just
desgraçada.
like that companion of yours. She certainly sins as much as she breathes, the lured whore.
Oh, you're completely mad. My God.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain. It's a deadly sin.
Then I suppose we'll be meeting in hell one day. It was all Mandalina's idea, wasn't it? She wanted them killed.
And can you blame her? That first harlot was already itching to become Mistress von Grole. That bastard of hers wasn't Hendel's anyway, but he was stupid that time. He'd have believed her. Now he knows very well, luckily, that they're all whores. He doesn't cry for them anymore.
And Mandalina just came to you like that, out of the blue. And you immediately obeyed her.
Well, one time she came to my chambers and she told me she knew very well that Yaka rejected me and that she'd started an affair with Master Hendel, while she was also spreading her legs for others in the evenings. And that she had to be punished before she brought misfortune on someone. And...
Go on. I'm listening.
That she deserved to die for all her sins. And she was right.
Don't worry. I'm not going to kill you. I'll hand you over to the city law.
I'm not worried, I'll have you know. My conscience is clear. They were all nobodies anyways. The bailiff should thank me for cleansing his city of them.
Oh, shut your mouth already. Don't make me regret my decision.
É porque ele provavelmente, como fala... Ele provavelmente vai ser enforcado.
Katherine.
Agora essa
Katherine,
vaca, não sei o que vai acontecer.
What should I wait for? I'm gonna cut that bitch's throat.
How dare you? Hands off, you heretical scum.
Shut up.
Let her speak. I still don't understand what actually went on here. I have some questions for you.
I'll tell you nothing, you serpent. Nothing. You can't keep me here. Let me go. I'm a woman of worth.
If you won't speak now, then the executioner will loosen your tongue when your feet start burning. But why wait, right? I'll cut your ear off. Maybe both of them. All you need to talk is a tongue.
No! Let me go!
Why did you do it, for Christ's sake?
Don't blaspheme, you heathen.
Come on, answer him or it's gonna hurt.
My husband, he drank a lot, ran around with whores and didn't pray enough. And God punished him for it. I couldn't allow the same thing to happen to Hendel.
And why kill those girls? Why not just talk to him about it?
I tried, but he wouldn't listen to me. He told me he wanted to sow his wild oats before finding a wife.
So your own son didn't listen to you? And you started killing the girls who
Que
were...
vaca.
Who seduced him and emboldened him with their brazenness? If they wanted to whore themselves out, they'll pay for it in hell. But there's no way they were going to drag my Hendel there with them.
And what about Hendel? Did he know what you were doing?
That I was taking care of his immortal soul and eliminating his temptation? Of course not. But one day he'll be grateful to me for it.
He's going to jump for joy. His mother a mad woman, and his servant a murderer.
Speak politely to me, you whore.
Henry, if you have any more questions, you'd better ask them quickly. I'm sorely tempted to finish this here and now.
And what about the hair in Hendel's chest? You're trying to tell me he wasn't involved, but he was keeping their hair?
Well, he kept asking about those whores of his. So we always brought him a lock of hair. We told him it was from them, as a parting gift.
Well, he didn't find that strange?
Out of sight, out of mind. He always found some new harlot anyway.
There was no blood where Alice was found. Where did you kill them?
That was up to Thaddeus. He told me something about an abandoned barn. I only told him to cut them up thoroughly.
Why?
Why? As a warning. So those whores knew what awaited them. To put the fear of God in them.
Do you realize you also killed girls who had nothing to do with Hendel?
That's not possible. I saw them all with my own 2 eyes, chatting with him and giggling.
And what about that alehouse wench?
That strumpet. I saw how she treated him. It's a damned shame she got away.
But she really had nothing to do with Hendel.
She wouldn't have smiled at him the way she did if she didn't want to fornicate
Que
with him.
filha da mãe.
They all deserved it. Every single one.
Não pode nem falar oi pra ele.
And better sooner than later. That trollop in our service even got herself with child. And she wanted to keep it. The slut.
And what about Zdenna? All she did was rob him, and you killed her anyway.
She fawned over him like all the others. He even gave her a ring, which she probably sold immediately. She deserved it. She was a thief, and stealing is a mortal sin.
I'd better stop asking questions.
Burn in hell, all of you.
What'll we do with her now?
Let's take her to the bailiff. She'll get justice there.
We don't have to go anywhere. I'll give her justice right here, right now.
But we can't do that. She has to go before the court. The law must be upheld.
Did you hear her? I mean, she hasn't got her head on straight. And what judgment will there be? She's from a wealthy family. Nothing will happen to her.
Don't you dare judge me. Only God can do that.
Shut your mouth, you sow. You judged and punished some random girls, and now you'll blaspheme like that?
Our
Pois
Lord
é.
directed me. I did it through his will.
Do you hear that? And you want to let her live?
But that's not justice. It's murder. Henry, won't you say something?
I told you, don't you dare judge me. I am a servant of God.
Temos que entregá-la ao
Put
carrasco.
away that knife, Catherine. We'll hand her over to the law.
Don't tell me you'd let her get away with it.
She's not going to get away with anything. She killed so many people. If she's lucky, they'll just hang her. If not, she'll be buried alive.
That's right. We caught her in the act, and she's confessed to us. They can't just let her go.
Of course they can. It's I scratch your back, you scratch mine. You'll see that all these rich burgher and lords have their own justice.
That won't happen. I guarantee you she...
You can't guarantee a thing. You're not the bailiff, and you won't be judging her.
She's right, though. We can't just let her out into the streets. She must be punished. And if not, then you can always go and pay her a visit, right? You know very well who she is.
All right then, you last of the righteous. Take that viper away, and may God protect you if they set her free.
Don't worry. I'll take her away.
Well, this was a lot stranger than I expected. Do you think we did the right thing?
I'm not sure of anything anymore. Not even myself. Can we just be quiet for a while?
As you wish. But still, it was damned odd.
Aye, that it was. Let's go and see Lumia. I wonder how he fared.
Até porque se ela escapar, ela não vai escapar de nós.
Tell us, Lumir. How did it turn out?
Did it end well? Oh, we're not going to get into trouble now, are we?
It ended well, and I didn't even tell anyone about you.
I'm surprised it worked out. Both of them must have been lying through their teeth.
Well, if it came to it, I would have had to bring you both in as witnesses. But fortune smiled upon us.
They didn't admit to it, did they?
E ainda orgulhosos, né?
The servant shouted that he was forced into it by Mandalina. And Mandalina completely lost her mind and started screaming that it was the right thing to do. And anyone in her place would have done the same.
My God!
Oh, if she had an ounce of sense, she would never have started murdering. What'll happen to them now?
Thaddeus will hang.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about that. And Mandalina, right now she's locked up. We'll see what happens to her.
I knew it!
She'll be punished, and not hurt anyone else. That's enough for me.
And what will you do now? Will you go back to the town hall, Lumir?
It's true I've made amends in the eyes of the law, but I probably won't go back now. Maybe better to write something about it. Who knows?
Won't you go back to drinking?
No, it didn't help anything, did it? If I had just persevered instead, I should have pitied those girls, and not myself.
Don't fret. It was a terrible mess, and all three of us had to put our heads together.
Yes. You helped me when I was in need, and didn't even know it. Maybe I'll just keep helping as long as I can.
Helping others is the best thing a person can do in this world.
E o que você vai fazer agora?
What will you do, Katherine? Will you stay here?
My work isn't done yet. I have to work in the tavern here, and then we'll see. Maybe I'll find work elsewhere.
Do you think we could have done better?
Everything can always be done better. But most important is to do it well and quickly.
Katherine is right. I'll still be kicking myself. Maybe to my dying day. But none of us did anything bad.
That's not entirely true.
I'm talking about innocent people. No more girls died because of you. And that's good.
Well, let's go our separate ways.
Thank you, lad. You prevented future murders. And you also saved me. And for that, I will be eternally grateful.
I thank you both. Without you, the devil knows how it would have turned out.
Here you are, as a keepsake. And perhaps as a reward. And if you ever pass by, look us up.
Yes, here is a reward, Henry. And Lumir, we shall certainly meet again.
O quinto mandamento, missão secundária concluída. Nossa, quem imaginou que uma missão começou simples e de boa, teve falação pra caramba, do nada virou uma coisa dessa. Pô, o final dessa missão é muito da hora. Então a véia tava pegando qualquer uma que dava um sorriso pro filho e matava. Simplesmente mandava o outro matar. Que vaca. E ela ainda tava tão assim arrogante e certa de si que admitiu o crime. Mas é aquilo. Ela não vai muito longe. E mesmo se for muito longe e a gente ficar sabendo... Bem... Tem sempre uma faca que pode agir.
Good morning to you.
Stanya, I have good news for you. We caught the murderer.
What?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Who was it?
It was the von Groller's servant. He was ordered to do so by the young lord's mother.
What kind of nonsense is that? I don't even know her.
That doesn't matter. She thought you were consorting with her son and decided to kill you.
But I hardly even talked to him. But thank you. Now maybe I'll feel better. I won't wake up at night thinking I hurt someone. I won't feel those fingers around my neck.
Lembrei de vir aqui e avisar ela. Bora que a gente tem coisa pra fazer. Bora falar lá com aquele seu nobre. A gente precisa libertar o Capon. Essa foi uma investigação muito louca, mas conseguimos resolver o problema de quem era o assassino. Mas agora a gente pode continuar a nossa vida, continuar as nossas missões e assim tentar libertar o Capon. Só que só nos próximos episódios. Eu espero vocês lá. Então se gostaram, deixa aquele joinha que é só clicar, coloca um comentário falando o que você achou, compartilha com os amigos que é muito importante. Se não for inscrito no canal, já aproveita, se inscreve e ativa o sininho para receber notificações dos próximos vídeos. Muito obrigado e até os próximos.